Right, hi guys. I just wanted to show you some things in Nina in the new sequencer, which is in the nightly builds. So it's not officially released yet, but I just wanted to show you a few things. And well, if you've got any questions, then feel free to ask. I'll just go through the basics here. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. Anyway, my normal routine would be to go to the Sky Atlas and to find a certain object, like Andromeda, for instance. What you can do then is set it for framing assistant. So I go into here, and this is my current focal length at the moment, so it's not a big view, but usually I have something along the lines of this, which is also not big enough for Andromeda. So for Andromeda I would actually move it over this way, and I have actually done a mosaic for Andromeda, which is yeah, really nice to do. Yeah, if you once you have this, I'll just go for one for now, just to show you the basics. So once you've got this, you can actually add a target to sequence. And you can choose to do it via the sequence builder, which is basically the old one, which has a few minor adjustments to get it to the new one. I can show you just if you go through the new one, you can go to the basic sequence target, which is always there. And if you do that, it'll come up with this. Which is pretty basic, but has a few annotations to explain a few things. So I don't really need them anymore. So basically what it does here, it's got a DSO sequence, and yeah, it should be it targeted on Andromeda. You can actually close this if you want some more room to view, and basically it goes from top to bottom in this instance. So you start out with these instructions. You have a slew to RA deck, which it will actually take from these coordinates. So these are leading. It will then try to center and plate solve, and it says center and rotate, but I don't have a rotator, so usually I just leave that. Then it'll run autofocus, then it'll start guiding, and all these will be one after the other. Here it has a sequential imaging instructions, which also will run one after the other. You got some triggers, so if there's a meridian flip needed, then it will do that. It will autofocus after every HFR increase. I usually set that to 10%. And it will autofocus after every filter change. So here are some more annotations which actually explain what it does, so I don't need them. Here's another sequential instruction set, which will this will actually loop because it's got a loop condition, and it will dither. It also has a trigger to dither every 3 exposures, and it will loop for 20 iterations. So this is pretty much the basic. You can switch filter to, well, for instance, hydrogen alpha. then if you say, well, I want 20 hydrogen alpha images, and then I want to do another 20 for a different filter, you can just copy it and choose a different filter, and then it'll loop through these on the same way. Anyway, so this would be reasonably standard for me. I would also get sulfur, and like this I can actually close these, and this would be a reasonable start to get some images. Now there's a sequence start area here, and there's a sequence end area here. You can also put things into there. Let's start out, well, I don't have a dome, I don't have a flat device, so I get rid of them. Right, so it's some guiding instructions, and here's a sequential instruction set, which I can drag into here. Like in here you can actually put some different things. So you could start by unpark the scope, for instance, and what you could also do is, for instance, you could slew to a certain place, like here. Altitude is 52, azimuth is 200. That gets me close to the it gets me close to meridian, but not in front of the house. Okay, Neil, I went too fast. Okay. Okay, thanks for that. Please let me know what you would like to know, because then I'll just ease off and try and explain it a little better. Okay. So I'll try to do that again. So basically, this is the start of the sequence. So you could say it's the start of the evening. And if you have a sequential instruction set, it'll do these in order. So you can have the unparked scope. You could add like where is it? Run autofocus, for instance, and then you could slew to certain coordinates. In this case, it's Alt S coordinates, so I can do some interesting thing with the guiding. If I want to start guiding and then calibrate, you want to do that close to the meridian. And in this way it will first unpack the scope, then run autofocus, then it will slew to close to meridian, but my house is in the way, so it can't exactly get there. But then it'll start guiding with the force calibration, and it'll calibrate PhD here, and then it will carry on with the Andromeda Nebula, for instance. So I hope that's clear enough. But if you have any other questions, then feel free to ask. Right. So after okay, so this loop condition, like here, it will do all these, but there's not a loop condition here, so I can actually tell it to loop until time, like here, and that means that this sequence here, in here, this will carry on looping until this condition is correct. So if I want to loop it until like 1 o'clock, like here, then it will do that. You can also tell it to loop until dusk, or actually dawn. So that'll loop until 5:30 in the morning. Then all these instructions will get carried out, and they will keep looping until it's dawn. It depends on how you how much time you have, of course, but for now it will actually do quite a lot of images in that case if you got until 5 a.m. Okay. It's now I've got all these red items here, icons here. That's because I haven't connected up the scope. Sadly, it's raining here, so I can't actually set up the scope outside, but I can connect to everything. So I'll just check to see if everything's connected. Right, now you can see all the items are, all the things are missing, are gone. And it can actually find all the gear and connect to everything. Okay, so that's you have here a startup sequence. You can do it at whatever, however you like, but this I think is okay. What I can also do is let me just move the camera here. You can also get rid of this, and there's also a start, basic start, startup, basic sequence startup. You can also drag this into here, which has some basic things in here. It also has the cool camera, for instance. It has the open dome shutter and flat panel cover. Sadly, I don't have those, so I have to get rid of them. And here it will unpark the scope. As you can see here, it's the parallel set. So that means that all of these things will be they will all start together. So don't wait for one or the other. If you don't like that, if you wanted to have a to be sequential, then you can actually drag this in here, and you could have the camera. Have the camera up here. So this will be parallel to this sequential set, and here you could have unpark scope. Get rid of the camera. We could do a run autofocus here and things like that. So this will actually start cooling the camera, but it won't wait until it's finished. It will start over here, and then it will first unpark the scope, because this is sequential. It will first unpark the scope, and then it will run autofocus. that's for me. This would be a really basic setup, just to start the evening. Of course, I first have to polar align it, but once that's done, it can start up here. Now, what you could also do is have it wait for a certain time. But if you, yeah. So if you, there's, wait, let me just get rid of the camera. Yeah, so here it's got a wait for time, but if you add that here, it will actually cool the camera and wait for time at the same time, because it's in a parallel loop or sequence. So that's not actually what you want. Actually, you wanted to wait for time first. So you could actually have a sequential instruction set here that could wait for time. And when once that's done, it'll carry on with this sequence. These will cool the camera and then unpark the scope and run autofocus while the camera is cooling. So it just shows you the versatility actually for the new sequence. I really like it. I check the Discord channel too. For Nina, and there's quite a few questions come in for people that some want to autofocus first, and some okay. Okay, right. Thanks, Stefan. So you don't really need this sequential set here. So you could actually drag that outside and have this as the first sequence item. So that's good. Good to know. Okay. Anyway, this would be a reasonably first imaging set for me. Of course, at the end. Let me close up a few of these. So, right. So at the end of the sequence, I wanted to park the scope and things like that. So we can have park scope, or we could actually put in a parallel set. And that could actually here park scope, and it could also warm the camera like so. And I put this to I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So in this case, after the whole set is finished. Which would finish at dawn. It would then go to this parallel instruction set, and then it will park the scope and warm the camera together. So that's I think that's really nice and useful. So anyway, now I've got my first template here with everything that I like. I can actually save it, save the complete sequence, and I could just save it as M31, and then I can load it later and start it up how I like. The other thing is that's really nice. It's a new edition. I think it was in version 5 or 6. You also have the targets. So this target I have here, I could actually save it into my favorite target set. So that way, if if I have the basic startup and basic end sequence, I can just drag in another target, or actually just let me just see. Okay, so get rid of that, and yes, like so. So that way you can really easily switch targets, and yeah, this was something I set up earlier. It's basically the same, but then with 10 iterations. Okay, so that's at least one way of doing it. There's also a couple of other templates which I asked for with other people, like there's an LRGB template. Let me just load it. Yeah. So this is just the template, so it hasn't got a target actually, but it will slew to coordinates, then run autofocus. Oh, okay. This is one I got from Stefan, and he slews to. This will probably be to zenith or so, and that's then it'll autofocus, and then it'll show you a message box with the flat. So you have to put on the flat field generator, and then it'll take 10 flats of all of his filters. So that will be luminance, blue, and green and red. So he takes the flats before he actually starts imaging, and I think he has a power box, which I don't have, as you can see. So he will switch on enough stuff via the Pegasus Pocket Power Box. Okay, then he'll slew to the array deck, which is actually for the target, and it'll say another message, probably to take the flat field generator off. Then it'll center on the target, and it'll start guiding. Wait for a bit so it can find the guide stars and stuff like that. Just wait for a half a minute, and then it'll start his instruction set. As you can see here, it'll do a meridian flip if it's needed, and it'll start autofocusing after an increase of 5%. Then he'll loop until a certain time. In this case, it's 5 something. And then he'll switch filter to probably luminance, take 2 exposures, switch filter to red, 1 exposure, green or blue, another exposure, and green, and the last exposure. So he actually loops through his filters quicker, and he'll take like 2 exposures luminance, and the rest will be red, green, and blue. And then this is a nice interesting thing. He'll dither and switch filter to the luminance again, and that can happen during the same time. So that's why he uses a parallel instruction set. And then it'll keep looping this section until it's time. Then it'll stop and go to the end sequence. So this is another way of doing it. and I quite like this, but you need to have your filter offsets correctly for this. So yeah, interesting. Anyway, okay. So another thing I can show you. Let me just get rid of this. I had a question from someone else who does asteroid hunting, and he had basically what he does is he has a load of targets. Oh, wait, let me just get I don't know, 2000 here. Right, so he has a load of frames like this, and he just takes one image of every frame, and then he'll go to the next frame to see, and he probably be looping that the whole time. So what you can do then is add a sequencer, and then I created this for him just as a template, asteroid hunting sequence, and that will actually load it up, and right, it's all Andromeda, but that's okay. But basically you have all the different targets here, all the different frames, and in every frame it will center the frame, and then it will take an exposure, and then it will carry on to the next, and this way you can actually take a whole bunch of exposures of or just one exposure for every frame. So that's also an interesting way of doing it. So yeah, but I won't do that. I don't do any comment hunting myself. So right. Okay. So another way of doing things is to use the sequence builder. That's more like the old style. The nice thing about this is if you have old sequences that you had in the 110 version, you can actually load them in here. Like here was what I did some time ago. You can actually load it in, and then you'll have your old sequence. Then you can add a few things here, which you wanted to do. So meridian flip is okay. Cool camera. Open dome. I don't have that. And these are the end sequences or instructions. Okay, so that looks okay. And then you can create your sequence from here. And it'll have the start sequences here. These are in parallel, so these will be together. So if you want to start it at a certain time, you can go back to here and say wait for time. Or you can actually also say wait for altitude, but you need that, then you need it in a certain target, which is nice too. But here I'll say wait for time, and I'll say yeah, wait for dusk, for instance. And then it'll wait for it here, and then carry on with cooling the camera and parking the scope. and then it will start these instructions. So if you have a certain object which will need to be above a certain altitude, you can actually add it here and say, well, I need it to be at least 60 degrees, and then it'll first wait for this and then carry on with the rest. Okay. So if there's any questions, then feel free to ask. Okay. Okay, so there's another interesting thing I wanted to show you. That's the autofocus here. It's basically the same as what it was. And let me just grab the camera again. Right, so it's basically the same. Cool thing about this is you have a list here in which you can see old focus sequences. So here at a reasonably good focusing. Not really great, but so it will actually show you. Oh, this is the Gaussian graph. If you have if you don't have any stars, then you can use this to autofocus. Right. So which is also a neat little extra that is in 1.11. Anyway, let me think, is there anything else I can show you? Right, let's get that back to 1. Yeah, what you can also maybe do is, here I've got Hinsky, or whatever you call it, Hello Northern Sky, and you can actually import a target from here into the framing assistant, like so. And I think this is actually new too, this Hips to Fits Sky Survey. I really like it. It's in color and it's reasonably quick as well. So yeah. Right. So basically, okay. Things I can also show you something else. Like here. That's the end sequence start. Okay. There's a few different templates here. And I can also show you that. So here's a template where it centers, starts guiding, then it'll loop until a certain time, and it'll do a couple of I think narrowband images. The thing is, if you want to change this in any way and have it say like this, for instance, and if you think, well, this is a really nice sequence which I usually want to use, then you can actually save it to okay, so I've already got it, so you can actually resave it over the other. If you want it like this, you can actually drag it here, I think, or can you just save it here? Right. Oh, right. So it's already there. Okay. So you can drag it or you can save it here. And if you save it here as a template, because it's a deep sky object template, you can actually then use the framing, and here you can actually choose this, the narrowband target 2, as your new framing, or your new DSO target. So that way, yeah, so it's added the M45 to here, but it then uses that template you just created and selected. Okay. So anyway, if there's any questions, then feel free to ask. All right. There's another thing I wanted to show you. Let's get rid of this. Here it says you can actually import targets from an external source. So for instance, you have telescopius. Nope. And say you have a certain target you want to image. Yeah, you need to save it into your observing list. So like here, the Dumbbell Nebula, for instance, and I can save it into a observing list like here, and then here I can go into the observing list, into the test. So I did this before, and so here I've got 2 targets. I can actually download these as CSV, right? And then I can actually let me have a look. Right, doesn't drag and drop. Let me have a look. Let's import target and downloads, and here. Right, so this way you can actually import targets from telescopius and then start imaging them through your default sequence, whatever you like. So that's really nice feature too. Okay. Right. Anything else I can actually show you? Got the target. Let's see if there's any. Right. So. Right. I'll do that. Okay, so here you've got there's also a safety monitor, which is new. If you have any safety devices, you can actually have it monitored, and this way you could actually right. So it's a loop condition. So that means if you can loop it here, but this will actually keep looping because there's no other condition. In this case, because here are the targeting imaging instructions that will loop until the end time. It's better to place it here. So this way it will loop until time, or loop until the safety monitor says it's not safe anymore, and then it will exit this loop, which means it will actually go to the end sequence instructions. So yeah, you don't want this as a single loop condition, because if all is clear, and then it will never stop the looping. So okay, anything else I can show you? All right, someone asked for a solve and sync instruction, and just to basically check where you are at the moment. So you could actually have it start out with a solve and sync, just to take an image and plate solve it and sync the mount. So it won't do anything else, just yeah, wherever you are, solve and sync, which is a neat feature. You can actually set the tracking mode in a certain way, which probably help. So set aerial tracking and then solve and sync, for instance. Okay, you can even you can also actually have a external script. So you have I don't know, some kind of batch script or whatever that you want running. You can actually add the location here and say, well, you've run this script, and then start, or when you close off, and have it in the end thing. There's also a message box. If you say, yeah, put on flat generator. Something like that. It will actually show you the flat this message, and then you have to click OK to go on. So that way it'll stop the sequence until you actually do something. Yeah, definitely handy. Anything else I can show you? Okay, yeah, there's a, like here, you can loop while altitude above a certain degree. Say your object is going to I don't know, go behind the house or whatever. If you know the altitude, you can tell it to stop when it reaches that altitude, and then it'll go to the next target, or it'll end the sequence there, whatever you prefer. So still haven't got a safety monitor. Let me see. Right, I think I've had quite a few. Yeah, switch value is yeah, so if you have any switches, then you can use that. Right, you can also tell it to loop for a couple of iterations. Say you want to have it here, loop for, I don't know, 2 iterations, so it'll do 2 of all these instructions, do them twice and then stop, but it's better to remove that one then. So just loop for 2 iterations and then stop. Yeah, things like that you can do. Anyway, I think personally, I think it's really nice. It's it really yeah, it's really versatile. That's the point, and if you wanted to first autofocus and then slew to the target, you can do that. If you wanted to slew to the target first and then start autofocus, then you can do that. Basically everything you would like, you can do yourself. Okay. So yeah, that's my basic instructions. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I think that's just about it. Let me just disconnect all devices, and then actually that you can do that with F9. If you want to disconnect all the devices, you can just press F9, or you can close Nina, whatever you like. Okay, well, that's it for now. I hope you have, I hope you can actually enjoy Nina. Yeah, if you like Nina and really enjoy its use, then don't forget to donate. But you can find the link in the description. It's go to the Nina site and feel free to donate whatever you can. Yeah, I really love it, so I'll keep using it, and I think it's really great. So thanks, Stefan, for your great work, and yeah, clear skies.